What happens when the most dangerous man in the city, someone who trusts no one, risks everything for a love he never believed in? Tonight, you'll hear the story of how danger itself fell in love, and how that love nearly cost two people their lives. The city slept beneath a velvet sky, its lights scattered like forgotten wishes. Somewhere beyond the clamor of late-night taxis and neon reflections, danger was quietly learning the shape of love. It began with a single glance, an accident, or perhaps a design. Elena Vargas, a night shift paramedic, hardened by years of seeing how fragile life could be, crossed the wet pavement of Harbour Street just as a man stepped out of the shadow of a derelict warehouse. His name was Adrien Holt, and to the city's rumor mill he was a ghost, a man who lived in the cracks of the law, where money and menace flowed in equal measure. Elena had no reason to notice him beyond the simple fact that he noticed her first. His gaze held the quiet tension of someone who had spent too many nights waiting for something to go wrong. She felt it like a spark in the cold air, unsettling, magnetic. Adrien was not a man who believed in coincidence. He had spent years making sure nothing touched him, but the woman with the weary eyes and steady hands carried a different kind of danger, one that no gun or locked door could keep away. Adrien's life was built on silence. He was a courier of secrets, the kind people paid to keep hidden. Smuggling information was his trade. Violence was the language of those who tried to stop him. Every alleyway had taught him a lesson in distrust. Elena's world was the opposite. Hospital corridors washed in harsh white light, the metallic scent of antiseptic, the constant pulse of machines fighting time. She had learned to comfort strangers in their last breath, to hold a trembling hand without flinching. Love, for her, had become a distant echo, something she once believed in, but no longer pursued. When their paths crossed again, it was inside the hospital's emergency bay. Adrien had brought in a boy from the street, a child caught in the crossfire of a gang dispute. He arrived carrying the boy's small blood-stained jacket and a quiet fury. Elena stitched wounds while Adrien leaned against the wall, his jaw tight. He never gave his name, only the bare details needed to save the child. When their eyes met, there was a question that neither dared to speak. What kind of man risks his life for a stranger and disappears before the sirens fade? Nights bled into weeks. They began to find each other by accident, on the subway platform at midnight, on the rain-slick steps of an all-night diner. Words grew like vines between them, cautious, then bold. Adrien told her nothing of his past, but his silences spoke of battles fought in shadows. Elena, against her better judgment, found herself listening for his footsteps in every quiet street. Love, when it came, was not the soft thing she remembered from youth. It was sharp, a wire pulled tight. She felt alive in a way that frightened her, as if the world had suddenly gained color and consequence. One evening, danger bared its teeth. A black sedan followed Adrien through the narrow arteries of the city. He didn't see it at first. Elena did. From the passenger seat of his beat-up car, she caught the gleam of headlights that refused to fade. Adrien's voice was calm, but his knuckles whitened on the wheel. "They found me," he said. Only then did Elena learn the truth. Adrien had stolen something, proof of a conspiracy tying a powerful developer to a string of violent evictions. He carried evidence that could topple men who considered murder a business expense. He had planned to vanish once the information was safe. But meeting her had changed the calculus. Love had made him careless, and carelessness was lethal. They ran. Through industrial yards and across midnight bridges, the city became a maze of hiding places and betrayals. Helicopters thumped in the distance like a restless heartbeat. Elena's training kept them alive. She dressed Adrien's wounds when a bullet grazed his shoulder. She found safe houses in forgotten corners of the city, trusting instincts honed in countless emergencies. In the fragile hours before dawn, they shared whispered confessions. Adrien spoke of a childhood steeped in loss, of years spent learning how to disappear. Elena told him of the patients she could not save, the faces that haunted her sleep. In those confessions lay a strange comfort, two people marked by danger, finding in each other the one thing they had stopped believing possible. The final confrontation came in an abandoned railway station, where the city's bones met the river. The men who hunted Adrien closed in, armed with more than weapons, armed with the certainty that fear silences truth. But Elena had already sent the evidence to a journalist friend, the files scheduled to release at sunrise. The men could kill them, but the story would live. A tense standoff filled the cold air. Adrien, once a man of quiet shadows, stood in the open and dared them to act. Elena felt the thrum of his heartbeat beneath her palm. Then the sirens came, police lights slicing through darkness. The hunters scattered. The city, for a breathless moment, belonged to them alone. When morning broke, they sat on the station steps watching the first trains return. The danger that had defined Adrien's life was not gone, but something inside him had shifted. He looked at Elena, at the woman who had walked willingly into his world and refused to be afraid. "Danger doesn't fall in love," he said quietly. Elena smiled, tired and unshaken. It just did. Their story did not end with fairy tale promises. It moved forward in small, cautious steps. Coffee shared before sunrise. The steady work of rebuilding trust in a world that had betrayed them both. But in every quiet moment, they carried the memory of the night when danger fell in love, and learned that even in the darkest corners the heart will find a way to be heard.